Hey guys, good morning. Today is Wednesday, July 20th. It's 6:20 right now. Market's going to open in about 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, then we can get started with our session for today. Just give me a few minutes for me to set this up and we'll start with our analysis shortly. As we mentioned during the mentoring session yesterday, and if you guys missed it, it was like a 3-hour mentoring session. We covered a lot of stuff. My main focus for today is going to be the breakout. So that's what we're going to be focusing on shortly. But just give me a few seconds to finish updating this, then we should be good to go. All right, let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, there we go. All right. All right, I'll give it a few minutes for people to make their way in. Looking at the chat over here, let's see. Jamie just posted some profit. She said, I took some scalps this morning, lowered my lot size after my L yesterday. I made some profit. So nice work, Jamie. Jamie locked in a nice profit of 316 for the day. So solid profit to start off the session. So good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, July 20th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. As I mentioned earlier, if you guys sat in on the mentoring session yesterday, my main focus today is going to be the breakout. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on open in the next 7 minutes. And we're going to look for whether we're going to take the trade in the direction of the breakout or if we're going to take the opposite. If you guys sat in on the mentoring session, it was like about 3 hours yesterday. So if you guys haven't seen it, you guys probably want to go back and review it because it's going to have a lot of information there regarding, our main focus moving forward. A lot of the strategies that we covered that apply very well. So let's see who's here. Morning, Fund Me. Morning, Surin. Morning, David. Morning, Peter. Morning, Jennifer. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Marlon. Morning, Lisa. Morning, everybody. I'm going to keep the confluences on here. So basically, when we look for this breakout here on the open, I'm going to have to analyze it from both directions very quickly because we're not going to have very much time to really think about it once the market does open. So I pre-filled the bias over here. It is slightly bullish. Retail sentiment is currently 58% short, neutral, and the neutral fundamentals. For the current trend right here, it is very bullish. So I'm going to change this to bullish. And the reason for it being bullish is because the trend meter down here is green and price is above the pivots right here. So if you guys are looking at my pivots, I've taken off pivots 1 and 2. I only use pivots 3 and 4 right now because there's just too much stuff going on with all of the pivots on the chart. So just looking at this right here, I also changed the color of the pivots for 3 and 4. Basically, when the green pivot is above the red one, this indicates that it's bullish. And this is just a double confirmation of a bullish trend. So we'll keep this up. We'll be looking for the breakout on open in the next 6 minutes. Hey, Marco, morning. Morning, Kale, morning, everybody. And I'll be taking this trade with 8 lots. So I'm going to be risking 2% on the breakout. So we got about 5 minutes till market open. Once I take the breakout, then I'll mark up the high lows for liquidity. But I want to keep the chart as clean as possible for me to analyze possible entry here. So you got about 5 minutes till open. Let me see if there's anything else here that I'm missing. It's about 57% short now. It's still a slightly bullish bias. Looking over here at the fundamentals, are currently down 47 points. It's still neutral though, since it's not above or below 100 points. Other than that, let me check the CNBC channel real quick, see if there's anything else here to identify before market open. But I think that might be it. Yeah, I don't really see anything over here. War in Ukraine could now expand beyond non-destruction warns. And it's crazy how like nobody's really following the war anymore. It's like people, everyone just kind of forgot about it, but it's still going on. So I haven't really kept up with the war, but I guess it's pretty much still dragging along. Other than that, I think that's about it. 6:26 right now. Market's gonna open in about 4 minutes. All right. So let's go back over here, refresh this real quick, see if there's any updates. Yeah, Kill mentioned that price is near the sessions. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna ignore the sessions because we've tested it where we don't really well, I'll leave it up just to see, you know, if it's too risky and it's like literally at the sessions, and I'll probably maybe take a smaller lot size. But I think for the most part we've been ignoring the sessions. Maddie, with your back test, have you been looking at the sessions? Because I haven't really been looking at the sessions. Because if anything, we could just ignore it. If it seems risky, we'll take a smaller lot size. But I'm gonna try to take the trade regardless. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So Maddie said he's been marking it up and it's been hitting through the session. So I'm gonna leave it. I'm just gonna ignore the sessions for the breakout, and then we'll just take into consideration later if necessary. So yeah, Maddie, looking at this right here, overall bias is currently bullish. Current trend is very bullish. High-low continuation is bullish right here as well. High-low candle. We'll have to check that on open. And additional strategy confluence, there's a nothing there. All right, guys, so the market's going to open in about 1 minute and 20 seconds. So I'll keep following it. I'm just going to actively analyze it as we continue on. But I think we're good for the most part. All right, market's going to open in about 1 minute. Still bullish. First, this isn't going to change, so we're just going to leave it as is. All right, market is opening in 30 seconds. Probably even going for a buy. All right, we have the high-low continuation right there, Maddie. Market is opening in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Market is now open. So currently right now, we're looking for a strong green candle. Overall bias is bullish. Trend is bullish. High-low continuation is present right here. High-low reversal candle is not present on this right here. Let me go on the 10 real quick. It is red. So we'll see where this goes from here. Everything looks pretty much bullish right now. So we're looking for a strong red candle at the moment to take this this breakout here. All right. If this closes like this, then it's gonna knock out the high-low continuation. So that's gonna be knocked out. This is gonna be knocked out, but we will have 3 other ones still present. So I'll have this marked up right there for the breakout if it closes. Still looking for a bullish confirmation. So we don't have it yet. No sell signal. See if this closes. If this closes with the sell signal, then this would be. All right, so this is a sell right here. Continuation is bullish. High-low continuation. So I would take this for a buy. So I'll just wait for it. I'll wait for it to swing back up. If it swings back up, then I'll take it for a buy, Manny. So let's see. I'm not in this position yet, guys, but we're trying to take the opposite if it does swing back up. Overall bias is still bullish. Trend is bullish. It's not overlapping. I'm gonna check multi high low as well. That's green, so that's fine. So there's still 3 confluences for a buy here. So if price swings back up, I'm gonna take the buy. If not, I'm just gonna wait. So entry point would be there for waiting for the reversal. See if it comes up. So I'm just waiting for it to come back up to entry. If it does come up, then I'll take it for a buy. If not, it's going to sit out. Just got to follow it for it to swing back up. Other than that, I don't know if you see anything else, Maddie. Is there anything confirming the opposite move here? So here goes, price swings back up. Just watching as it pushes higher. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Maddie. It's got to wait for it to swing up though. So you can't get greedy. We can't get it from the bottom. We got to catch it if it swings back up to entry point. So if price swings back up here, guys, I'm taking a buy for the breakout. It's waiting for it to swing back up. I want to put a buy stop there, but it's hard for me to get the proper number for the entry. I'll just do it manually. If when it swings back up, it's going to hit right. So I'm in the position now, guys. So the entry was, if price pushes up, and let's move my stop loss in profit if it's like slightly above, just to, because the sessions is right there. Just be a little careful. All right. See how far it's pushed up. When it gets above like 200 pips, I'll move my stop loss in profit. All right. It gets past that point, move my stop loss in profit. All right, moving my stop loss in profit now. So I'm in profit about 2,000 right now. I moved my stop loss in profit, so I guarantee the move. Here's a breakout, waiting for it to continue. A little higher. So my stop losses are in profit. I'm just letting it run now. Ah, fuck, it stopped me out in profit. Yeah, I might have moved it a little too early. So that's so weird. I got some slippage. I got like -$8 off that trade. But it stopped me out in profit. I moved my stop loss in profit. I might have moved it into a little too early. So let's see if it continues to push back up right here. Yeah, I might have moved my stop loss in profit a little too early. And there was some slippage, it looks like. I re-entered, so I'm back in it. I moved my stop loss in profit again though. So I got stopped out in profit earlier. I re-entered, my stop loss is back in profit. Non-profit about 2,000. I'm just hoping it doesn't spike back down again like it just did. So still holding it. Yeah, Patricia said, Sean, be careful with MFF major slippage. Yeah, that's what happened to me. It was weird. I locked in like -$8 off one of my accounts and then 48 in the other accounts. I'm currently in profit about 1,200. But I'm back in the position and I have my stop loss in profit. So I'm gonna let it run. Hopefully it pushes up. It doesn't come back down. My stop loss is in profit right now though. No. Let's see. It stopped me out again in profit. Okay, so I'm not gonna triple dip into it. It's just the way that the market's kind of moving right now. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna hit TP. It's just it's not as smooth as a move as I would have wished for. But I double dip into it. I locked in a little more profit now. So let me just refresh this. Okay, so I'm net positive across my accounts. I'm not going to triple dip into it. I took the first trade and moved my stop loss in profit. It gave me some profit, and I'll take my screenshot right now of my profits as well. I'm not going to dip into it again. But the analysis played out perfect. So if you guys sat in on the mentoring session yesterday, I basically explained how we can take the breakout literally every day. You have the initial breakout move right here, but if you can identify the confluences right here from this checklist that I showed you guys yesterday, you can really take the trade either way. So like you can analyze it for a reversal or you can analyze it for the actual move. I think this is going to hit TP though. So I think eventually it's going to go and hit TP, but I'm not going to go and like dip into it again because it's too late for entry at this point. I'd be getting in for a negative for a negative entry price because typically you have it in or down here. So I'll take a screenshot of my profits real quick. I'll show you guys. There was just one, my main account, which is weird. I would have thought that the loss would have came up on the other copiers, but on my main account, it was just like a negative $8. So there was slippage with the exit for some reason on my main account. But my other accounts, the slippage worked in my favor. So I made about 384 off my main account, 1,024 off my copier. There's a lot of slippage though, so I'll show you guys real quick across all my accounts right here. So I got this. My MFFs look fine though, surprisingly. It's just my MFS, my FTMO, my main account actually is where the slippage happened. Well, there was slippage on my copier, but it was in my favor. So I'm not backing this. I'm kind of tempted to enter back, but I'm not going to. Typically, you want the breakout to hit right away. Right now, it's just super choppy. All right. So I think my rule of thumb is like when I get like 20 points or 200 pips in profit, I typically move my stop loss in profit just to guarantee the profit, because you know some profit's better than none. But yeah, here you guys will see my profits right here. There's a lot of slippage between the accounts. Yeah, Mauricio said take your profits and run. So here's my accounts right here. I took the buy. You can see from my it's weird because the slippage happened on my actual main account. This is my main account. You can see the red strip right here. The stop loss was actually in profit like $300. So I don't know how did I get a negative here. But it gave me a negative. So I got a -8 on this on my main account. Then I made it back on that next trade. Total profit of 800 or 384. Here's my copier. You can see my copier actually made profit 152. So it's just slippage, like even on my main account. So you can see the slippage across all the accounts right here. I made 152. Total profit of 1,024. And then here is my MFF accounts. So my MFF accounts are actually okay. I made 48 off the first one. Then the second one I made 448. So total profit of 496 off this one, 496 off this one, and 496 off this. So my MFFs are fine. It's just my FTMOs, for some reason, my main account, -$8. And then for my copier, I don't know how it's like such a huge difference. It's weird because this one's the one that actually executed first. And I guess what happened was probably price shot down and then it came back up. So I'm not back in this position right here, guys. We're just following it, but I'm not back in it. I'm glad I didn't hop back into it because the market was moving kind of funky right here. I wouldn't be surprised if it just skyrockets right back up too. It was kind of an iffy trade though, because it was hard to identify all this stuff right here like that quickly. So I'm just going to go back and reanalyze the trade here. For the sell right there, there was no high-low overlapping. The trend was bullish. Overall bias, still bullish, I believe, right? Let's take a look at this. Currently, still 57% short, taking a look at the fundamentals. Well, they're red now. They weren't red before. So, and here we go as price swings back up. I'm not going to dip back into it though. I'm not gonna FOMO into the trade. I already made my profit for the day, so I didn't make a crazy amount, but I still made some pretty solid profit. If you guys have profits to post up, feel free. It looks like some of you guys already did. But I'll take a look at that shortly. Other than that, I don't see anything else. I don't know if you see anything else, Maddie. There was so off this right here, let me just go back real quick. This was the entry right there. High-low reversals. Let me go on the 10 real quick. So we technically were supposed to take a sell. So the high-low reversal actually wasn't even present either. So this is actually, I mean, there's four confluence. There's only one confluence, so this should have for sure went up, but it's all good. So I'm not in this position anymore, guys. Just FYI, we're still following it. This is the breakout. It still hasn't hit CP yet. These are like the worst breakouts. I don't like when it's a back and forth movement like this for like a long time. Typically, the breakout will hit like right away. But me and Maddie tested this way of applying the breakout for the whole month of July, and there hasn't been any losses. So yeah, Maddie said most confluence is showing for a buy. I think it'll go up and hit TP probably. I think so too. I think eventually it'll just skyrocket back up. So I think this is gonna, it's just messing around. Eventually it's just gonna swing back up and just go straight to TP. So we'll follow it. But just a refresher from yesterday's mentoring session, the main trades that I'm going to be taking daily now is probably just going to be the breakout. This is probably going to be the only trade. I'm going to take it for a decent lot size. Like for today, I took it for an 8 lot. If this was to hit full TP, I should have been 4,000 in profit, right? So it's just one trade a day, basically. I'll still be looking for some scalps, but for the most part, I don't really want to be on the screen all day. So I know I showed you guys the intraday strategy as well, but again, I don't want to be on the screen all day. So I just want to be focused for like at least 5 minutes in the morning, take the breakout, and then pretty much call it a day. I will still stay online and analyze trades for you, but I don't think I'm going to be taking any more of those 1 minute scalps. I started to realize that it's just draining if you're like staring at the chart all day waiting for one of these 1 minute scalps. And some of you guys are fine. Like some of you guys like to trade that way. You guys can stay on the chart. But for me personally, I feel like it's just it's too tedious. And then I hate when I get FOMO when we miss a 1 minute trade. And then like 4 of them have passed because I'm analyzing some other stuff. So I'll stay on to like answer questions and maybe analyze some of these 1 minute scalps for you guys. But for my accounts personally, I think I'm just going to be taking the breakouts from now on for my own accounts. Because like realistically, if I could do 2% a day, right? And me and Maddie have tested the strategy, it had like no losses. So if I could do like 2% a day, which is like 2,000 per account or 4,000 actually. And say that we take say we take a breakout every single day. And then just being modest, say we have 3 wins and 2 losses, right? So it's just like 1 win per week. Just being on the side of not overly hopeful. If you were to do that times 5 of my accounts, that's about basically like 20K a week, times 4. That's pretty solid to just lock in just 1 trade a day. So this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be taking a breakout. I'm going to do the same thing we did here. Like basically when price moves into profit about 200 pips, like it did right here, how I measured it, I'm going to move my stop loss in profit. As soon as price reached 200 pips right here, I moved my stop loss in profit. As it came back down, I re-entered and then I moved my stop loss in profit again. And then, but I probably won't be doing that in the future. I'm probably just going to take it once. If it hits my stop loss in profit like it did here, then I'm just going to call it a day. And just pretty much, just focusing on this quality move. So if we held on to the trade here, it looks like this one would have been the first loss for July, Maddie. So we'll add this to our spreadsheet. We'll keep testing it each day, taking notes on it to see if there's anything that's changed. But for the most part, when price moves up at least 200 pips, I do recommend moving your stop loss in profit at least to break even or slightly above. And that's what I did right here. Because you can get issues like this where, let me check if there's news actually. Is there something else going on today? Today's Wednesday. So there's news at 7. There's just news at 7. It's existing home sales. But yeah, so what I was saying before, guys, is like this strategy has such a high win rate where if you take this trade every single day, you're going to end up in profit at the end of the week. So you can have a win the previous day. I think did you check the data from yesterday, Maddie? Yesterday and the day before that, it hit full TP, applying the strategy. So if you were to take a loss today, it'd be a win on Monday, Tuesday, 1 loss today. So you'd still be net positive 1 win. And then the next 2 days, if those 2 win, then you're net positive 2 or 3 wins. So it's just going to be a numbers game, guys. It's going to be a game of probability. Which is, on our side if you apply this properly. So let me just take this off the chart. When we update the spreadsheet, I will show you guys, but I just don't have the spreadsheet updated right now. But it looks like some of you guys here did post up your profits. So looking over here, Harry locked in a total profit of 1,890. Nice work, Harry. Looks like he pulled out earlier too. So great work right there, Harry. I kind of wish I did earlier, but it's all good. I wanted to let the trade run to see how far it would go. So nice profit right there off the breakout from Harry. Jamie over here as well. She locked in a total profit of 598. She made some profit right here off the breakout as well. So great work there, Jamie. Going down further, Marlon over here, she took the breakout as well, locked in a total profit of 1,190. So solid work right there, Marlon. Let's see. Yeah, B said, guys, there's news at 8, be careful, and news at 8:30. Yeah, I saw that on the list too. So I think there was one over here. Yeah, so 7 and 7:30 for me. We'll mark it up right here. So if you guys are still continuing to trade after the breakout, just keep in mind that there's news coming up at 7 and 7:30. Let's see, other than that, let's scroll over here real quick. We have Josh over here with some profits too. Joshua locked in a total profit of 458 for the day. He took the breakout as well, let him hit his TP. Looks like he went for a smaller target, which is cool. If you guys are not comfortable with taking the full move, you guys can always take half move, right? Because if you guys took half of the move right here, put that back. If you guys took half of the move right here, you could have still hit TP, right? So you don't have to do the whole full move. The big red flag here that we were kind of worried about was the sessions, and it looks like price did get near the sessions and then it came back down. So if you guys went for half profit for 250 pips, looks like some of you guys did that, you would have hit your TP. Or for me personally, when it reached 20 points, I moved my stop loss in profit to guarantee the move there. So you can see right here, price kind of just spiked a little bit, but it's still pushing back up. So other than that, let me see if there's anything else here. If you guys have more profit to post up, feel free. Otherwise, Patricia here posted profits as well. She had a nice pre-market push up. She locked in a total profit of 6,088 for the day. Nice work, Patricia. So since our main trade is only going to be the breakout for the most part during these live sessions, I'll try to be a little more detailed and give you guys more of a heads up. We're already anticipating a buy here, so I pre-wrote up the confluence checklist. You'll see this on the chart, guys, in the morning. Basically, I'll write what the bias is right here at the time, and then the trend, and then the only things we really need to confirm is the high-low continuation and the high-low candle reversal. If you guys don't know what this means, just watch the mentoring session from yesterday. I was on that mentoring session for over 3 hours, so we went over everything in pretty deep detail. But yeah, I mean, other than that, let's see if there's anything else right here. Let's see, Ross. So sorry, question here from Ross. Ross is asking, why would I not trail it? Why are you not trailing? So I've tried that trailing tool, Ross, and for some reason it, well, I mean, not for some reason, I know the reason, it's just too close. It follows it too close sometimes. So like for example, how price was kind of spiking around right here. We had our entry at this point. Price did push up. Let me see how far it push up. I think when the market's super volatile like this, it pushes up, and then when it comes back down, it stops it out too early. So that's why I don't use the trailing stop. I might have to play around with it during, on a practice account. I don't want to do it on my live account in case, there becomes an issue. But I think with the slippage and whatnot, it's going to either stop it out too early in a lot of cases, and it's not going to let the trade really breathe. I got to figure out how many points to put away. How many points do you put, Ross? Do you put 100? I think that was what you said last time, right? You just guarantee the move every time. I might have to adjust it to like maybe 150 or maybe even 200. Actually, that's a good idea. Move it to 200 so that it'll move it up whenever it reaches that point. Because then if that was the case and price pushed above here at 200 points, Well, I still would have gone out at the same time because it would have pushed up here and then my stop loss would have been in profit or at break even. I'll play around with it. Thanks, Maddie. Yeah, Maddie said it was a win on Monday and Tuesday. D said we're Steven at this would be his time. Yeah, I know. I talked to Steven yesterday. A lot of you guys haven't seen Steven for a while. He's been busy working his normal job. So I talked to him yesterday and he's going to be back on here. I forgot what he said. What did Steven say yesterday? Steven right here. Yeah, Steven said he was like, oh, so he said, so my strategy of breakout is popular now and many members are using it, including you. I'm like, yeah, Steven, I've been using the breakout. But you know, Steven's just joking around. So we'll probably see Steven back in the room in the next couple of weeks or so. He's going to make some time to sit in on these live sessions. Actually, is he here now? No, he's not here today. So he's probably working this morning. But he will be back in the live sessions with his Putin jokes. Other than that, let me just scroll down real quick. Awesome. Yeah, Marlon said your analysis for the breakout really helped me today. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, definitely, guys. I'm going to try to keep the confluences up here every morning so that you guys have confidence with taking the breakout or taking the opposite. You know, it's all going to be about your trade psychology, guys. If you guys feel confident about a move, other it's probably going to play out. So other than that, let me check the chat real quick and see what else I am missing. Yeah, John said he's right. His strategy is only take the breakout, and now we're following him. Yeah, no, I agree. Gotcha, Ross. Okay, so Ross uses 150 to 175. I'll probably use that on the next entry. Ruin's asking, do you have the confluence checklist listed somewhere we can review? Yeah, I just watched the mentoring session from yesterday. You can fast forward towards the end, but we covered the checklist pretty much all throughout the session. We applied it on multiple strategies and it works very well. So if you want to go and look at the mentoring session from yesterday, it'll cover it like super in detail. We took hours and hours on it. All right, question from PC. Let me see what PC mentioned over here. PC said, can we go over the move again, please? We also took the breakout at the middle of the candle. I took the breakout. So we'll just go over it again. So let me just go over it real quick for PC over here. Okay, so let me put the requirements for the breakout over here. And then I'll put the checklist right here as well. So we're just going to confirm all of the requirements here first. Let me just turn off the session so it's not or I'll just leave it on for now. It's not really that much of a mess. So first you want to look for the entry after 6:30 a.m., right? So right here we have a bullish signal. Here's the market open at 6:30. This is a strong red candle. So this is not the breakout because we need a strong green candle in order for us to take that breakout. The following candle right here, bias shift, or not bias, the momentum shifted. So with the momentum shifting to the downside right here, this became the breakout, right? Because we had the momentum shift this way and we had a strong red candle. So this confirmed the entry for the breakout. Now that we had this breakout right here for a sell, what we did next is we confirm the confluences. So the overall bias here was bullish. Reason for that is because sentiment here is currently, I mean, it wasn't that strong. So it was a slightly bullish. Typically you want it to be pretty strong. Like you want it to be above 60%. Right here is 57. So this might've been a red flag for the bias because typically you want to have something directional. So just using that as a light bullish bias, the sell here would have been invalidated, right? Because there's no confluence there. The current trend right here was bullish. The reason for that is because the pivots here are bullish and the trend meter is bullish as well. So double confirmation of a bullish trend. That confluence doesn't line up. Third confluence, you want to confirm the high-low continuation, which is not overlapping. You can see that this high-low right here is overlapping with this one. So that confluence does not line up either. For the fourth requirement, you're looking for a high-low candle reversal. So in order to confirm that, you want to make sure that the high here is red candle. It's not red right here, but if we go over to the 10-minute, which is a lot more stable, it's actually green. So with that said right there, we don't necessarily have, this is like, it's like it can fall in either category depending on like on if this is the the crossroad between taking a buy or a sell. So for example, if we had two here, we could have either used this to determine whether we took a buy or a sell, because it'd just be indicating that this would probably not apply. So if that's the case, and there's 4 confluences that are not present, just one here, which is a V3 off this high, then this would indicate that we should do the opposite. And that's why I took a buy here instead of the sell. This was the actual breakout, but since the confluences didn't line up, I took the opposite. So I didn't enter in the middle of the candle. I entered when it came back up. So this is where I entered. So price was back down. And then when it came back up, that's where I made my entry. So I didn't make my entry there. As price swung up on, I think this next candle right here, this is where I made my entry. When price pushed up to that point, I moved my stop loss and profit because my cutoff is about 200 pips. Right here, and when price pushed up at least 200 pips, that's when I said, all right, I'm going to move my stop loss and profit, which I did right here. And on the next candle, when it came down, it stopped me out in profit before spiking back up. That's why I locked in. That's why I locked in this small profit here for 152. There was some slippage, so you can see from other accounts, some made 48, this made 152, and this gave me a -$8. So that's pretty much why we took the trade there for the breakout. If you guys want me to cover like the breakout from Monday and Tuesday, I can do that as well. If there's anything that you guys want me to cover right now, just go ahead and put that in the chat as well. But for the most part, I'm not necessarily going to be looking for any more scalps. I just got to be more disciplined with just taking one trade a day. This is going to help with our testing of the strategy. I think it's going to work very well though, because there hasn't been any other losses for the entire month of July. So if we took the trade, if we took the breakout every day from July 1st up until today, even including 4th of July, which was a holiday, they all would have hit full TP aside from just this one right here. And this is all part of the game, right? It's all game of probability. So if you were to take those many trades, I'm not sure how many trades were there, but it'd probably be close to like a 90 to 95% win rate at this point, because it's now July 20th. And if we had a breakout from the 1st up until now with only one loss, it's going to be a pretty high win rate. So other than that, let me see if there's anything else here that I am missing. All right, you see the daily is coming up right here. So this is the daily right here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to take this trade, but I will mark up the confluences again because we did use this yesterday. Confluence checklist, overall bias is bullish. That's not going to fit. Trend is bearish right here. Obviously, you can see trend meter is red. Pivots are bearish as well. High-low continuation. These right here overlap. So that's not going to fit. High-low reversal candle, that doesn't fit. So it looks like the confluences right here are indicating a buy. Additional confluence right there that meets. So if I was to take the daily here, I would expect this not to hit, probably do the opposite. So we'll follow it. We'll follow it right here, the opposite direction. I think we were going for like 100 pips, right? I forgot. Whoever was like tracking it yesterday for our mentoring session, I think they mentioned that 1,000 pips was probably the better sweet spot. So we'll follow it here for both the actual direction and then the opposite, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But I'm not in this daily position right here. This is just going to be a continuation of the strategy that we applied just for, not strategy, but the confluences that we looked at yesterday. We basically have this list of confluences that I use. We check the overall bias, which is typically going to be the sentiment. We don't really want to use the fundamentals that much. We're going to use that as a secondary confirmation. Current trend, we're going to use the pivots and the trend meter. High-low continuation, that's self-explanatory. High-low reversal candle on multi-time frame, that's going to be self-explanatory as well. If you guys saw the mentoring session yesterday, and then the additional strategy confluence, you just look back to the previous high, see if there's a variation right there. There's a variation right here. It's a V3. There's a high with the green candle followed by a red candle. So with that said, this has 2 out of the 3 biases. So this would indicate that price is likely to reverse the other way. So we'll keep that marked up and we'll come back to look at it. But I think right now at the moment, I'll answer whatever questions we have here. If you guys want me to go back and show you guys the breakouts from Monday and Tuesday, applying the strategy, I can do that. It's just up to whatever you guys want to cover for today. So we'll follow this. I wouldn't take the sell. I would have taken the buy for this specific entry right here. So what might happen is price might even retrace up, hit TP, and then come back down. But I think it'll definitely hit this first before it goes down. So I'm not going to risk it, but we will follow it and see where it goes from there. Anyways, let me scroll down a little bit. Thanks, Peter. The news actually came out right here. So there was news that just came out shortly. 7 o'clock. Negative news. Also going to mark up the opening price right here. So it looks like the trend did shift here. See if there's anything else that I'm missing. Yeah, US30 has been backtesting the reverse daily. It works very well. Yeah, so we'll follow that. We'll see where it goes from that point. PC is asking, or P said, okay, thanks, but we straight have taken. Let me see. PC said, but could we straight have taken the breakout at 9:30 on the breakout candle when we saw? Yeah, no, you could have, PC. It would have been the same thing. So like, for example, if you were to take the breakout at that time, like if you really wanted to take it at that time, you could have taken it at that time. So looking at this right here, and I think in the future, it's just because this is the first time we're applying it live. I'm not comfortable with it yet, but if you wanted to take it like right on open right here, you could have done that because you still would have been in the trade. It's not like you would have been stopped out or anything, right? If you took the breakout right here for the opposite direction, on like exactly on, because that's when you would confirm it, right? You confirm it directly on that candle. You just enter it, you go into some drawdown, but then it swings right back up. So I think in the future, what I might do is I might do this. If price does pull back like this, I'm going to enter down here for a discount, right? Because if I did that, I could have made way more profit right here. I actually would have hit my TP, right? The 500 pips. I could have doubled up my profit. So in the future, I'll probably get in for a discount because the thing is, if I lose a trade right here, it's not a huge deal, right? I'm only losing like 150 pips, like 160 pips, but I have all the upside because if it pushes back to the upside, I could probably hit my TP and hold on to it longer for, double, triple profit. So I trust the strategy that much where I'll enter it for, I'll enter it while it's in drawdown, just not today because today was the first day we applied it. So I wasn't really confident, but from the back test, it looks pretty good. I think this would have been pretty solid if I got it from down here, right? So, we're going to get better at it every day. This is just the first time we're ever applying it on the live. So I think now that we've done it, the trust is kind of developing with regard to this. I'm just not used to going against the strategy, right? Because we typically always go with the strategy. So us going against, that's kind of how I screwed up the trade yesterday. Yesterday, I was supposed to be doing this as well, but I kind of screwed up with the analysis and then I actually took the wrong direction. So yeah, you could have taken the trade right there. Let me just take this off and go back to current time. Let me scroll down a little more. Yeah, Maddie said might look to enter at a discount. Yeah, no, I would have done the same thing. All right, Ruin, we'll see you tomorrow. PC is asking, we do have a V3 confluence for a sell on 10-minute daily. Let me check. Yes, you do. That'd be a V3 right there. That's why I have this right here marked up. So everything lines up except for, we have the trend here because the trend is bearish. And then we also have the additional strategy confluence, which is the V3 right there. But from the list of confluences right here, this doesn't necessarily meet. I think a lot of you guys are applying it on the 3 too, right? So what I'm going to do here is we've been trying to test it on the basically all the daily entries, right? So there's no daily entry yet here on the, actually there was. So there was a daily entry right here. It looks like it would have hit TP too. I'm not sure if anyone caught it. So it looks like it already hit TP actually. So let's look at the confluence checklist again. So this confluence checklist works with pretty much any strategy. All right, so the overall bias was bullish. So that's not going to fit criteria right there. The current trend is bearish. You can see the pivots are below. It was really just pushing down. It was a slight retracement to the upside right here. High-low continuation. Go to the 10-minute. Green candle. So I think the overall bias right here is going to be, because it was neutral, so it's kind of hard to tell. Additional strategy confluence V3. So this would have been a, this would have been an iffy trade too, because the overall bias right here is neutral. This is what makes it kind of tough to take the, like this would be the 50-50 requirement, because for this one right here, there's no high-low reversal candle. So for this, depending on whether the bias is present or not, it's only like we would want it to be at least like, because it's more so neutral than it is one-sided. Looking at this right here, it's 56% short. We want this to be 60 to 65% or more in one direction so that we have some sort of bias. And also the fundamentals here were down. So if this was bearish and this was bullish, this indicates that it's that it is neutral. So we wouldn't be able to cross it out, or we wouldn't be able to have it in place. Because the thing is, if you were to have no bias, or if you were to have a bias, then this would have been a good trade. If you were not to have the bias, then this would be the opposite, right? So like looking at this right here, if you were to take this trade, looks like it pushes up a little bit, but then it hits TP. So whenever I have something like that, that's why I like specifically made this an odd number, because if you ever get to the point where you're not sure about one of the confluences, I would just skip the trade. Or if you were to take it, I would take it for a partial entry. Like I would do what I did today. I would wait for it to push at least 200 pips in profit and then close out with some profit. Yeah, and also like Kodi said, this is a very big candle for entry. Another thing that I do sometime, or that we covered yesterday, is if the candle's too big, like say for example like this, if the candle's too big, I would wait for it to retrace back. Because if you guys remember, price typically retraces to the halfway mark or the full candle. If it retraces to the full candle, it's going to stop you out before it brings you back into profit, right? And you don't want that to happen. So I would typically wait for it to pull back, or I would just skip the trade. So that's another requirement that we covered yesterday. If you guys were in the mentoring session, I basically mentioned that whenever the candle is bigger than the stop loss, I would just skip the trade, or I'd wait for retracement. So like if you wait for retracement here and you let it pull back a little bit, then you make the entry from this point because you're confident it's going to come back down. Your risk here would have been better. So instead of entering from this point down here, you would have actually entered from right here, and your risk reward would have been better because you would have gone in for a discount. So instead of only going for 500 pips, you go for 850 pips. So you have like an 8 times risk reward right here. So instead of entering at that point, you enter up there, and then you make a bigger profit. So as we continue to move along, we will continue to make adjustments for possible late entries, because the thing is, it typically does come back down. You know, just retrace it a little bit and you can get a better entry point for a discount. John said the 3-minute daily, don't we need to skip the opening candle? So typically we do, but I think from the testing, the opening candle is fine on the lower time frames. Anything below the 10. The problem with the 10, applying it on opening candle, is that there's so much going on that opening candle that that we skip it. That we would have to skip it because you might end up on the a manipulated entry, right? So on the 1 minute, we can take it because that initial candle could be the initial move. Like for example, here, this is the initial candle, and then you can see that it continues down. The time where I would skip it would be the 10 because this candle here takes, I mean, it just takes up a lot more time for it to close because you can have a big manipulated candle here on open. By that point, it'll be retracing. So we'll play around with it. I'm personally not going to take the 3 minute. I'll cover it for you guys. We'll look at the 3 minute. We'll look at the 10 minute. I'm not going to take these yet because I'm going to focus on just one trade a day, basically one breakout. And then from there, you know, we'll see if we want to add more on because I can just lower my lot size. Like for example, these are all 1-to-1. So if they all have a high win rate, I can take each trade for like 1%. So I can have a 3% risk, 3% profit per day versus just one trade for 2%. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Tody. Tody mentioned that if the candle is really big, it's like a 50-50% that it will hit TP or stop loss first, because that's really what will happen. It might retrace up, hit stop loss, and then come back down at TP. So whenever there's a big candle like that, I typically just wait. But yeah, I mean, other than that, let me see if there's anything else here to look at. You guys can see the 10 minute here is still kind of bouncing around. Hasn't really made its move yet. But let's see. Yeah, I think the overall bias is still not present. Let's take a look again. Overall bias still 56, neutral. Looking over here at the fundamentals, they're currently down. So overall bias is not present. High low continuation is not present. High low reversal strategy is not present. There's just 2 out of 5 confluences right here. Other than that, let's see if there's anything else. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions, you know, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll be looking for any other entries here, but I'm not necessarily looking to take any trades on my end. Pretty satisfied with my profits for the day. Took a bit of a, yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. I think one trade a day is going to keep me disciplined from over trading and possibly losing it. Let's see, B over here said took some losses, but made it back. So B over here is currently up 2,927 for the day. Nice work, B. So this is his new challenge. B just started this. Looks solid. Maddie over here as well. Took a total profit of 628 for the day. Nice work, Maddie. Mohammed said, I'm going to do the same as you, Sean. Yeah, I think this is probably the safest and easiest way for you guys to pass your challenges and get funded. It's basically what Steven did. So if you guys remembered Steven a couple months ago, he went like 3 months without any losses, just taking the breakout. That's literally the only trade he took. Took the breakout and then called it a day. And he was locking like some pretty solid profit. He wasn't even locking the full breakout either. He was doing like partial moves. So like, I mean, I forgot when that. It was like back in like, was it June? I think it was like around the summer. But yeah, he would post his profits every day. And he was just taking one trade a day, which was the breakout, and he'd lock in like 1,000 every single day. I think it was like from February up until May, like literally every day, just took one trade. And I'm going to be doing that myself. It's just a lot less work. I mean, if you could focus for 5 minutes in the morning, or like if you guys just want to copy the trade that we take the breakout, if you can just focus for 5 minutes and take one trade a day, the strategy has such a high win rate that if you just do it every day, and even if you eat the losses, you'll end up in profit at the end of the week. So yeah, John said just the opening is a lot less work. And I agree too. You don't have to be staring at the chart looking for variations like every second, right? The problem with us looking for variations here is that I'll be answering questions and then I'll miss a variation. And the problem with missing a variation is that you start to FOMO. Like for example, right here, I just missed one variation. It happens too fast. You have to be like super drilled in and focused. So there was a V1 right here, it was at news price. But if you were to take this variation right here, like you literally have to be focused. And I feel like the negative risk to reward kind of throws people off, but it still would have hit TP right there. So one variation right there, full TP. And I think that's it for right now. I don't see any other variations. So there's another variation over here as well. Actually, there's no pending sell, so nothing off that. There's another variation right here. So there's two variations that just happened. Both full TP right there, and another full TP right there. Here we go, as price starts to push back up. So we'll see if this analysis here does play out for the daily. We were anticipating the opposite move, right? Because the confluences didn't line up. Tody said, by the way, guys, MFF has discount only for today, 12% because they have their anniversary. Oh, that's good to know. So if you guys want to buy an MFF challenge, 12% off. It's not a lot, but something. So if you guys are interested, I personally recommend that you do FTMO first, guys, before you do any MFF accounts. But if you guys want to, just keep in mind that it is available. Tody said, maybe someone wants to use the chance to buy cheaper challenge. Yeah, I agree, Tody. John to the 3-minute close of buy momentum, took it as a daily with half the lot size. Let's take a look at that real quick. So let's just analyze this if we were taking the trade after 6:30, because John does have a point. We typically don't take this trade on the opening candle. But since we're testing it, we'll see if it does align with the confluences here. So confluence checklist. Overall bias is bear, or there's no overall bias. So this is probably just going to be crossed out. Current trend is bearish. So we're going to knock that out. High-low continuation, that's not present. And high-low reversal candle, it's green. So this does fit the requirement. Additional strategy confluence, that does too. So looking at this right here, the key thing is going to be the overall bias. If this isn't present, and if we just ignore that, then it's technically going to be 2 and 2. So say if this wasn't here at the overall bias, and we have 2 and 2, it's going to be flat. So this would basically be a 50% trade, and I wouldn't take it myself. I would just hold off on it, because depending on like what the overall bias is, if this was bullish, well, I mean, it is kind of bullish right here. So let's look at the fundamentals real quick. Fundamentals are neutral. Sentiment is bullish, so it's 55% short. It's not very strong, but it is bullish. So if that's the case and the overall bias is present, John, then you could take this here for the daily entry. So yeah, this is still technically running right now. If you were to take it, John, I'd probably move my stop loss and profit at this point. Typically the threshold is going to be 200 pips. When it hits 200 pips, I would just move my stop loss and profit either slightly in profit, or maybe even higher if you want to. But yeah, at this point, stop loss would have been moved in profit. But we'll follow it. We'll follow it and we'll see if it hits. The only way we'll get better at trusting these strategies is if we test them. And I think testing them live is going to be the best way to really, get a feel for it. So we have this running right here. We also have the 10 still running as well. I think the 3 will probably hit, because if the 10 is running in profit, it's just another confluence on the 3 that's going to continue pushing. So I will set an alert right here. This is going to be 3-minute. I'm not in the position, but I'll follow it. I'm going to try to stick to just my 1 trade a day, basically. And then here's another one right here for the daily that we marked up. So I'm going to turn this off because we did identify the buy. So we'll see here if this hits 3-minute. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So basically the strategies that you guys want to, well, what I would probably say would be the best for you guys to really master would be like the daily entry type strategy. So like the daily on the 10-minute, the breakout is going to be number one, obviously, because you can literally take this trade within the first 5 minutes. So, if time isn't something that you guys have when trading, you can just focus for 5 minutes, take the breakout. 3 minute looks like it hit full TP. So right there, John, not sure if you held it, but looks like you locked in some pretty solid profit. If you moved your stop loss in profit, you would have guaranteed profit. And then it did push up to the full TP right there. Nice. So John did get his full TP. Nice work, John. Good identification right there. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe in this case, we should probably skip well, I mean, either way, if we took it at 6:30, it still would have hit. If you took the one after, it still would have hit too. So it doesn't matter which direction you would have taken it, it would have hit, one way or the other. Looks like the 10-minute here is going to hit as well. Let's see where it goes. It's almost there. Not sure if you took this E. I know this was your idea to take the Akil is asking, Sean, why didn't you take the sell on the 10-minute? So the reason we didn't take the sell is because the confluences right here. The confluences were more for the other direction. So like there was a sell confluence here, but the overall bias is bullish. The current trend was bearish, so that's fine, that fits. The high-low continuation is not present. And the high-low reversal candle is not present either. So I'm not sure if you sat in on the mentoring session yesterday, Akil, but we covered this stuff like in detail. We were able to identify when we should take the trade or when we should do the opposite. So this type of trading applies for both the breakout. It basically applies for any of the daily strategies. So any of the one-to-day strategies that that we can take, which would be the daily on the 10-minute, the daily on the 3-minute, the breakout, because they only happen once a day. So since the trade happens once a day, it's either going to be a win or a loss, right? And if it's a win or a loss, if you can identify and analyze, if your trade's going to lose, then you just do the opposite, right? And that's what we're doing here. So for example, with the 10-minute, if we were to take a sell here, I would have identified a loss. Like I would have analyzed it for a loss because the overall bias was opposite. The trend was okay. This confluence wasn't there. And then also the high-low candle reversal wasn't there either. So instead of taking a loss, I did the opposite, took the opposite position, or would have taken the opposite position. And then that's why we have this here for a buy instead of a sell. If that makes sense, Akil. If not, just watch the mentoring session from yesterday, and then it'll be in it'll be explained in detail there. So let's see, question over here from Todi. Todi said, John, I think you should decide yourself. Do you want to take less risky trades with a higher chance of TP? Then you can take higher lot sizes. If you want to take more trades with lower lot size, it's personal preference, depends on your, yeah, and I agree with you too, Todi. So if you guys want to take the 10-minute, also the 3-minute and the breakout, then just take a smaller lot size, right? So for me, for example, I'm taking an 8 lot right here for the breakout because this is the only trade I'm looking to take. I could probably increase my lot size, but for right now, I'm just going to keep it at 2%. So if I lose a trade, it's fine. It doesn't really put me in a hole, right? 2% is not a big deal because if I make 2% the next day, it'll just break it back to break even. And then if I win after that, it'll push me into profit. So all these strategies have one-on-one risk to reward. So as long as you take the trade every day, you should be able to bounce back on the following day or the day after that. Or if you have a really good week, you'll just have a lot of wins, which is typically what we're aiming for. PC is asking, but the high-low reversal, no, it wasn't. So the high-low reversal here, if you're looking for a sell, PC, the high here has to be a red candle, right? Red and red. This is green and this is red, so it doesn't fit for the high-low reversal. If this was a red candle, then yeah, it would fit because you're looking for a sell and the reversal is indicating that it's coming down. This isn't a reversal pattern because with regard to that requirement, because this candle here isn't red. Does that make sense, PC? So the reversal that you're looking for, so let me just show you an example here. So this right here, see how the high here is a red candle? This is a reversal pattern. So if on the high low, if it's a red candle and you have a red momentum, then this is going to indicate that price is going to continue pushing down. So like say, for example, you see this trend shifting right here, price pushes down, retraces up, you have this reversal pattern right here and it confirms. So with that said, price ends up dropping lower, right? And that's the same thing we were looking for over here as well. We were just looking for that to confirm it. Yeah, no problem, PC. I know it's kind of confusing, but once you see it enough times and you practice it and you identify it, it'll make a lot more sense. You're basically just looking for a confirmation of direction. All right, Kodi said news is positive. Perfect. News was positive. Looks like the 10-minute is really close to hitting its TP. There's news price right there. It just needs a few pips higher. So it needs to push up like about 100 pips and it's going to hit the TP here for the 10-minute daily. It's really close. This would have been solid. So I think if this continues to hit, I probably would take maybe the daily and then also the 1 minute. It's kind of hard to focus on the 3. And there you go, full CP on the daily. So solid work, guys. I'll give you guys this because we actually analyzed this trade here. Like before I have, I'll give you guys an update for you guys who actually thought about taking it or did take. If you guys have more profit to post up, feel free. It's been a long time since the daily was taken. So we're going to be adjusting that. I'll adjust the requirements for that too, because I think we figured out that the sweet spot's actually 1,000 pips, not 1,500. It's too far of a move. So we analyzed this prior to it coming up like that, and it played out perfect. So as you guys can see right here, the daily was technically a sell, but since the confluences didn't align, we would have done the opposite. And hopefully this is making sense to you guys. These daily entries, they happen once a day. So for these daily entries, it's either going to hit stop loss or it's going to hit TP, right? So if you guys can confirm that, you know which direction to trade. So if you have a sell here and then the confluences don't line up, you're like, okay, price is probably going to reverse. And that's why you would take the opposite for a sell instead of taking it for a buy. So great work, guys. Some more profits right here posted. Jay over here as well. He took the daily total profit of 1,367. Nice work, Jay. So solid profit right there. Let's see over here. Some other people posted some profits too. Maddie. So Maddie took the profits right here as well. It took the buy as well for the daily total profit of 1,535. Nice work, Maddie. Going over here, Maria over here from earlier, she took the sell, a total profit of 109. Nice work, Maria. Patrick over here took the daily as well. Looks like took it at, or this was the breakout. Took the buy there, locked me a total profit of 7,114. Nice work, Patrick. So yeah, Patrick just took one trade today this morning. You can see the timestamp right here for the trade. Solid. It's one trade a day or a couple trades a day if you're taking, multiple strategies. But you guys can see that this confluence strategy works pretty well. It helps you identify whether you want to take the opposite or the actual entry. I don't think I put anything over here. So let me see this real quick. Profit. Two. So let me just update this real quick. Add my profits to the listing over here. All right, so that's pretty much going to be like our main way of applying, or my main way of trading during the lives now, guys. I'm mainly going to focus on the breakout, and I'll probably look at the other daily entries. But for the moment, I'm probably just going to be focusing on only the daily or the breakout. And then from there, I'll add on maybe a couple of the other entries, right? It's all going to be a process once we get into the swing, because now that we're kind of changing the way that I'm trading during the live sessions, mainly focusing on one or two entries that are going to happen either way. And I think a lot of you guys will like this better because when we did the 1 minute scalps, there'd be some days where there's no entries, right? Applying the strategy this way, you're going to have an entry at least every day, like at least one entry every day. So I think this would be beneficial to everybody if you can focus for just the first couple of 5 minutes, and then if you want to look for the daily, the first couple hours or so, you should be perfectly fine. But other than that, yeah, you said it's going to hit for 1,500 too. Yeah, I mean, if you held on to it, would have pushed up higher. But it's better to be safe than sorry, right? For the entry here. Yeah, John said I like this better. This gives you more time to focus on a few trades and make sure all the confluences match up. Yeah, and I agree too. You're gonna be way more profitable this way, guys, because you're gonna be taking less trades. You're not gonna be risking a negative risk reward. It's gonna be 1-to-1. So, but the thing is, if the other way of trading still works for you guys, then just keep trading that way. I think this is just gonna work better for us. It's less stress, less work. We can get in and out of the trades quickly, and we're not like our eyeballs aren't like glued to the screen to take these 1 minute entries that we continue to miss. And the thing is, there's a lot of red flags here. So like the problem with taking these trades here is that price will get near a lot of these areas where you don't want to trade. So you might see a good entry here. It's at news price, you're gonna have to skip it. You're gonna see another good entry here at sessions, and you're gonna have to skip it, right? And I feel like a lot of people got frustrated when there would be days without trades. So at least now you'll have at least 1 or 2 trades, like basically guaranteed daily. Yeah, exactly. Tody said there's no right or wrong way. It depends on what fits you. And Tody says he loves to stay in front of the charts a whole day. So yeah, for Tody, he can still trade like these 1 minute trades. What you can do is you can take the breakout with me or any of the daily entries, make your profit, and then scalp on a lower lot size, right? So just risk like 2% for the daily or the breakout, make your 2% there, and then trade for these scalps like less than 1%. So you don't have to really risk much. But yeah, I mean, trade with whatever works for you guys. If you guys like applying the 1 minute scalps, feel free to keep applying it. If you want to just be on the charts less and just have a higher probable trade with a bigger lot size, then just take a breakout with me. That's pretty much how you guys should do it. It just depends on like what fits you. Yeah, you said I think the 1 minute works best in a bull market. I agree. It's easier to take trades because you're just taking pretty much every variation for a buy. Yeah, Patrick said I like to shift trading, 2 hours in London, 2 hours in New York. Yeah, which is perfect, Patrick. I think that's solid for you. You can do your scalps during London, and then just during New York, we'll take the breakout, maybe 1 daily, and then you should be on your way. All right, cool. So let's see, it's 7:38 right now, so it's getting close to 8 o'clock. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I think the market's pretty much done with this movement for the day. So now we're traced back up. I think that's pretty much it for the daily strategies, right? We've taken right here the 10 minute. That's like one of the daily strategies we apply. The 3 minute is the other. I don't think we apply it on the 5. Or at least not that I'm familiar with. I mean, we might have to come up with something on the 5 too. So like, for example, here on the 5, I would have to find the sweet spot for this. So let me see. Confluence checklist. Overall bias was, let me clean this up. Overall bias at like 645 was like bullish, I believe. So that didn't meet. Trend is bearish, obviously. There's no high-low continuation. High-low reversal. No. Additional confluence is met. I think this is the same issue that we had with the other time frame, right? It was the overall bias. This right here wasn't really set because this was like 57% long which is indicating to take buys, but the fundamentals were down like 100 points. So this right here would have been give or take. It would choose, which trade you'd be taking. So if you're going with the fundamentals, you would take the sell. If you're going with the retail sentiment, then you would have taken the other direction. Tony said no single. So let me see if this, I think this ended up dropping. So depending on like, if you end up having a confluence like this where one of them doesn't apply and it becomes an even number where it's half and half, I would probably just skip it because you don't have a bias in any direction with regard to the confluences. But if you were to take the sell here, and I'm not sure what we might have to use like 75 for the 5 minute. You can see it still would have hit TP either way. Or if you're going for 1,000, it would have swung back up. So it depends on like, we would have to find the sweet spot for the 5. I think this is like doing too much. We probably just want to focus on the 10, 3, and 1. And it's going to be difficult to find the sweet spot for the 5. So we'll probably just leave this alone. I think the main strategies we'll be looking for would be the breakout. That's going to be the main one I'm personally taking. Maybe the 10 minute if we see something good. And then maybe the 3 minute as well. But it's going to be hard to focus. I think my main focus will be the breakout. Once we have the breakout, then I'll go back and I'll look at the other timeframes. I don't want, analysis of other timeframes to get in the way of our initial breakout. Yeah, Jonathan said the breakout is true meaning to one and done. Yeah, and I agree too. So for the breakout, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. Just once you take that trade, be done. Come back tomorrow and do the same thing. Just rinse and repeat. First 5 minutes of the market each day. I know, E, right? I mean, if you guys want to play with it, you guys can go ahead and play with the 5 minute, find the sweet spot for the TP. But you're gonna have to do some back testing because it's gonna take some time to determine. Like it took me long enough to find the sweet spot for the 10 here. I thought it was 1,500, but we started to notice that during the slower season, it's probably gonna be best with 1,000. So I'm gonna have to update this right here. Fix TP stop loss. But let's see. Other than that, I don't see anything else here. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. It's 7:42 right now. I didn't realize so much time passed. I thought it was barely 7 o'clock, but it's already going to be 8. So it's already getting close to our time to sign off. If there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm free to answer whatever questions you guys want. If you want me to go over any other examples, here, I'll use yesterday's trade as an example. Let's go back to the 1 minute from yesterday so that I can just show you guys, because yesterday was the same thing. We would have taken the opposite. I just kind of screwed up the trade because I wasn't fully focused. And I think that's the main key. I just got to be fully focused when taking this breakout so that I don't make that same mistake in the future. But yesterday was the 19th. Okay. All right, so where the entry was. Oh, this is NASDAQ. Thanks, guys. So let me go here to the 19th. Yeah, 19th at $6:30. Okay, so market open right here at 6:30. This is the 6:30 candle. I'll put the requirements here again for the breakout. So looking at the breakout right here, this is a sell, right? The reason for the sell, and I'll go over that shortly. Look for entry after 6:30 or 6:30 or anytime after it. This is a 6:30 candle. We confirm the bias. I can't remember what the bias was yesterday. We're going to just assume that it was bullish. Confirm the direction momentum using the K2 momentum indicator. We have a sell momentum right here. So we're looking for sells. Confirm a strong candle in the direction momentum. Right here's a strong red candle, right? So with that said, this is technically the breakout. So if we were looking for the breakout, this would be the breakout. This is the one that I accidentally took yesterday. This is where I screwed up. I forgot to look at the confluence list because I was technically looking for a buy here, but I actually took the wrong direction. So looking at the confluence here, look at the overall bias. Bias was bullish, so that's not going to be present. Looking at the current trend right here, the pivots are bullish. Trend meter is bullish as well. High-low continuation, not overlapping. You can see this right here that is present. This is not overlapping. That's fine. High-low reversal candle. So for this sell, you're looking for a high, the most recent high with a red candle. This is a green candle. Go over to the 10. The high right here, there is no high. This is the highest point, right? This is not going to count because this is not higher than this point. So with that said, that confluence is not going to be present. Lastly, you want to confirm additional strategy confluence. Right here, there is no V3 off this high. So with that said, you can see that there's 1 out of 5 confluences that are present. So the odds of this actually hitting are unlikely. So instead of me taking a sell here, this is technically supposed to be a sell. I expect this trade to be a loser. So instead of me taking the sell, I do the opposite and take a buy instead. So I do that. And this would have been the trade for the breakout. The breakout was a sell, but since the confluences here didn't align, I'm predicting that this is going to be a loser and it's going to push to the upside. So if we were to take this trade for a buy instead, you can see price pushes up and full TP. So if you backtest this strategy with exactly how I did every day, it's just the daily entry. This would, you'll see that for the entire month of July, there was no losses aside from today, but today would have been like the outlier. And as long as you move your stop loss in profit, you're going to be able to pretty much lock in profit and guarantee net positive profits, every day. I think as we get more and more, familiar with applying it live, then I will just let the trades run. Because if I just let the trades run, it's okay if I have a loss like one day. Because if I have, so there's 5 days in the week, right? So, and I'll just put this breakdown of possible profits breakout only. So here's a breakdown of like the different scenarios, right? So say for example, so let's see, I just okay week. So for an okay week, we could have 5 total trades, 3 wins, 2 losses, right? So with 3 wins, equal. So we'll do okay week, 2% risk. So here we go. Basically, okay week, 2% profit risk per trade, 5 total trades, 3 wins. That'll be 6 times 2, or 3 times 2. That's 6% gain. 2 losses, 4% loss, right? Total percentage would be a 2% gain. And this is like on a modest week. So like if you're to do that 2% gain for this week, it'd be perfectly fine. So we'll just say better week. So you're just going to change it by 1, right? Same thing, 2% profit risk trade. So for this 5 total trades, just taking 1 breakout each day. And then we're just going to shift one of the losses to a win. So say 4 wins, 1 loss, right? 4 wins equals 8% gain. And then 1 loss, 2% loss, right? Total percentage would be am I tripping? No, that's right. 6% gain. Right. So you just need, like, if you have 1 good week of this, I mean, you could have an okay week and you'll be up 2%. If you have a better week, you'll have a like your wins would just multiply. So if this makes sense to you guys, this is why I'm preferably like leaning towards just taking 1 trade a day, because this will help you be consistent with your profitability. because I've from our back test, I've never like I haven't seen two back-to-back losses, or even any losses in general for July. So if you guys can just take the breakout, that's about it. Let the trade run. You should be fine because you'll make it back on the next trade or the one after it. Maddie over here caught the high low. So here's one of the 1 minute strategies that we covered yesterday during the mentoring session too. The high low hits pretty often. I mean, if you could apply it properly. So let me use the same analysis here. So same analysis for the high low, right? So let's go over here to the high low strategy, high low scalp. Confirm overall bias. It is currently, I mean, it's pretty neutral. It's still kind of bullish. Yeah, it's bullish right now. So this is bullish for the 1 minute high low scalp. We have the high right here, price breaking, close past it, confirm direction momentum. It's bullish right here. Price is not ranging. It was ranging prior right here, but then it's no longer ranging. It broke outside, confirmed the break of a bullish direction. Price has not touched the previous swing prior. Or actually, Maddie, this wouldn't satisfy the requirements because the second candle over here touched it for the high low. Or I could zoom in. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it barely touched it. So I wouldn't have taken this high low here. But let's just say that if it did fit the requirements, right? Just to show you guys a breakdown of how you would apply the strategy and then use the confluence checklist. So just say everything here lines up. We go over to the confluence checklist because you can use this for whatever entry you plan on taking. You know, look at the overall bias. We'll say that's bullish. Current trend is bullish. A high-low continuation. There's a continuation right there. High-low candle reversal. So since we're looking for a buy here, this candle right here is green. So if it's a requirement, going on a 10 over here, this is also green. So it does fit the requirement. So looking at that, all of these meet. Look for strategy, additional strategy confluence. There's no confluence here, so that's just one. So 4 out of the 5 confluences do align. So if this was a valid entry, I would have taken this here for a buy for a quick 100 pips, just like Maddie did. And you can see right there, full TP on the following candle. So as you guys can see, it doesn't matter what strategy you're applying, you can still use this confluence checklist to improve your probability of winning. So nice work, Maddie, on catching that there. I didn't take the trade. I just don't want to be staring at the charts all day. That's really what it is. You know, I'm trying to do the least amount of work as possible, but still lock in the same amount of profits, if not more. I think this will actually lock in more profits because instead of me just looking for one good scalp and making 1,000, I can, you know, risk 2% and make about 4,000. So instead of taking 4 scalps, I'm just taking one trade and calling it a day. Nice. Yeah, Randy said, thanks for today, Sean. Done for the day. Definitely no problem, Randy. Let's see, other than that, yeah, E said would be interesting to see how it works for random months, but we can't see bias. Yeah, so what Maddie did and what you can do too, E, is if you want to back test it like to random months, you just have to pull up the live from that day, right? That's what Maddie did. Maddie was back testing it the entire month of July, and he pulled up the live sessions because in the beginning of the live sessions, I cover what the bias was. So if you want to really, if you wanted to do that, it's possible. It's just gonna be a lot of work because you have to go and like rewatch each video. But I think it's gonna be beneficial because the more that you see it works, the more confident, the more you're gonna trust the trade. So, I mean, if you guys are really bored and you guys want to back test this yourself, which I welcome everybody to do, because this will help your trust in the strategy. Just go back and watch the mentoring, not mentoring sessions, the other live sessions. So what I'm saying is, let me just show you guys real quick. So here is the YouTube channel, right? Say if you were back testing back in like March, like you just want to go all the way back to March, just go to the videos here and then just go back to that date, right? Everything with the blue background is going to be each live session for the day. So if you want to go back and back test, say June or something, you know, you have June 9th right here. And if you really wanted to pull that up, you can just pull it up. And then if you watch the live session for that day, you can literally just pull up to, because I covered it in the beginning of the session, you can literally just fast forward to wherever okay, there we go. So I'm right here. Like literally you'll just fast forward to that point, and then you can listen to my analysis if you want, just to see what, the bias is and whatnot. Because I cover everything right here. I even go over to the I think it was just this page right here. There we go. So just looking at this right here, waiting for it to upload, you can see right here that the US30 was 53% bullish for that day. So you would just say it's neutral. And that's how you can go back and backtest. If you really wanted to, you just go back and pull up the date here, because I don't take any of these videos down. Everything that's been uploaded here, you can watch literally any live session for like the past 3 or 4 years. I've been trading live for that long. So you guys can see the full transparency here with each trade. But yeah, other than that, it is about to be 8 o'clock, guys. So I don't see any, let me see if there's any other questions here before I Kelsey gonna call it a day. See you tomorrow, Sean. Definitely, Kel. We'll see you tomorrow. And we'll do the same breakout again on that day. Yeah, ESID for neutral, would you just not use that confluence either way? Yeah, exactly, E. So if that's a case where the bias is neutral, I would just not use it. But you could use both the fundamentals and the sentiment, but the sentiment is going to be the main one. So you typically want to look at the sentiment. If that doesn't apply, then use the fundamentals just to identify, what the bias is. If you really want to use it, like if it's like the game changer, whether it's going to be a buy or a sell, then I would use the fundamentals just to confirm. But other than that, let's see. Kodi said there's a 10-minute rejection running, or reversal he meant. Oh, gotcha. Okay. So I see it right here. Kodi. Here, let me just draw it right here. And we'll use the same analysis again right here. This candle would have to close below. So for this rejection right here, this was actually a reversal. Sorry, I'm like super confused with the strategies. We've been covering so many strategies. Is that the engulfing one? Kodi, let me check. Oh, okay. No, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So what Kodi's referring to, I see. I don't think we have a name for that strategy, but it's just it's a confluence that I use. So like basically what I was showing you guys before was basically when you have a momentum signal like this and you have the low as a green candle, this is going to indicate that price is reversing, right? It's a reversal pattern. So you look at the K2 high low, if it's a low and it's matching the momentum color right there, odds are it's probably going to keep pushing up. And that's what Kodi's referring to. So like, for example, right here, this is what he's mentioning that it is currently running. So currently running right here. And if you wanted to use this as a confluence, or this isn't a specific standalone strategy, but this is just a confluence. But if you wanted to just use this to analyze, you can do the same thing, right? What's the overall bias? Overall bias is neutral, I believe. So the fundamentals are 87 points. Sentiment is pretty much flat. So there's no bias there. So we're just not going to use that. Looking at the current trend, it is bearish. We're going to knock this out. Looking to see if there's a continuation, not overlapping. It's overlapping, so that doesn't count. High-low reversal, it's present, and then additional strategy confluence. So there's like, it's 2 and 2. So with this right here, I probably would just avoid the trade, not take it. But if you were to take it, it looks like it is currently running in profit. Oh, it already hit TP. So it becomes a 50-50 trade when you don't have the confluences. So I personally would just skip it, but you can see here that it does still push through. So yeah, nice. Kodi said he's using this as a confluence. So basically what Kodi's doing is he's looking for this as a confluence, and he goes on the 1 minute, and then this is where he looks for his scalps, which is smart. You can do that as well. But all right, guys, it's 8 o'clock. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to message me on Telegram or email me. Otherwise, we'll be back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place. I'll be here. I'm going to be flying to Austin tomorrow. So I'm going to do the live with you guys in the morning. Then I'm going to run straight to the airport to fly out to Austin, Texas. So so I'll be here tomorrow, guys. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we'll be back here to take our breakout for tomorrow morning. We'll also look at the dailies. But I think other than that, we're pretty much good to go. If you guys have more profits to post up, feel free. Maddie here just posted some more. He locked in a total of 2,325. All wins, no losses. Great work, Maddie. Again, over here, he took some more trades on his other account, locked in 3,900 for the day. Great work, Maddie. And then his other account right here, currently up 1,263. So great work, Maddie, across all your accounts. A nice recovery right there. I know you had some losses, but it's all good. You bounced right back, right down here. Some more profits from Jamie. Great work, Jamie. She said she's been taking small scalps. Not sure if you're applying the strategy that we covered yesterday during the mentoring session, Jamie. But if you are, it looks like you're doing pretty well. So great work right there as well, Jamie. Took some small scalps, locked in a total profit of 926, almost 1,000 for the day. So you're good. Keep it up. Other than that, 926 here as well. So I think that's it for now. Unless you guys have any other questions, we're going to call this a day. If you guys want to message me, feel free. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow to run this again. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your morning. And if you guys